What's going on, guys? It's your boy Big Mike, man. Sorry, running a little bit behind this morning. Want to get ahead of this Nolan Wells autopsy release. Of course, if you don't know, Benjamin Crump and the Wells family are going to release the findings of the independent autopsy here at 9. So in about 6 minutes. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and try to get everything loaded up because I don't know exactly where they're going to be live streaming it at. But as soon as I find that out, we'll be on it and we're going to talk about it today. And I'm gonna go on the record and say this before it gets started. I hope it was an accident. I don't hope that it's something terrible or horrible. I really hope that it was just an accident. I had somebody comment to me on Facebook saying, you hope that it was a murder. And how sick is that? How sick is that? How sick is that to hope somebody was brutally murdered? So I just want to go on the record with that before we get started, because people are going crazy over this shit. They're going crazy over it. It's time to get some answers. And I know that the public, as a member of the public, I don't deserve more answers than this man's family. So as bad as I want to, I'm not going to push that issue. I'm going to wait as they do their investigation. I am going to ask questions though. But let's get to it. I'm going to put us on a small break while I find this live stream, and we'll go from there. The mic drop. God. I'm praying. Lord,
Okay, microphone number one. Podium microphone number one. One,
let me know
two,
if you can hear.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We all good? All right.
Let me know if you can hear it in the chat. You can hear me and give me a thumbs up. You can hear me in here. Guys. And I'm sorry I'm so quiet. I'm so quiet, but mm, mm, mm. How y'all doing out there today? I hope your morning is going well. I wonder when Mississippi's going to drop theirs. I saw that the public safety director of public safety, whatever his name is, title is, they're going to do a press conference at 4 p.m. today. For those who don't know, Warren has spoken out. He spoke to probably the most uncredible source that you can speak to, and that's Officer Brandon Tatum, who basically is he's going to break things. He's a race baiter. Let's just be honest. I did a video about that yesterday, the concept of race baiting and how it's put off on us who ask questions about race. But the people that get baited seem to be the other side. They get baited more easily by race than we do. It's almost like a tool of terrorism to them. They take these opportunities to be as mean as they want to be, to say the things that they want to get off their chest. And, it's people out here, man, that own businesses. It's people that have jobs. And this stuff is making it back to your job. It's making it back to your jobs. It's going to impact your family. And I think y'all don't understand that we're capable of being mean too. You guys aren't the only ones who can be mean. You don't have the market cornered on being mean. We just haven't gone there with it. That's all. We haven't gone there with it. We're peaceful people. We're fun-loving people. Good people. We're not gonna take you off somewhere and something happened to you unless you've done something. Now, not saying that problems don't get handled, but it's not just the mere fact of you coming around us, we're gonna do something to you. And I think that's a common misconception. And I'm gonna go as far as to say it's a projection. So let's just wait. Let's see what the results say, and we'll go forward from there. I also got something else interesting I want to show you guys too. Since I'm on here and I got you, I want to continue to drill down on these black faces that jump up in our spaces to defend the other side. Okay? So let's just see what this says, and I'll be back with you guys. We should be getting started in a moment. What up, Tommy? You out there on the road, man? Don't worry, guys. We coming. Hopefully it starts soon. I want to show you guys something today, though. Once we're done with this, I guess depending on what the news is. Man, Tommy, I'm worried, man. I'm worried, brother. I'm normally really talkative, but like today of all days, I'm nervous. I don't, So forgive me. I just got to wait till we get, till we get here. Like and share the video. Subscribe to the Big Mic Drop, Mic Drops Facts. We got 2 channels, the Big Mic Drop and Mic Drops Facts. So we got some people in the building. Let me get the likes up. Let's get in the algorithm with this, because this is the work, guys. This is the work. So let's get the thumbs up. Let's share and subscribe. Yeah, this is going to be interesting, Tommy. This is going to be interesting. It's just a lot of dynamics at play right now, guys. And we've all been speculating, and this is the moment. Now, what I do see coming from the other side, because I'm paying close attention, a lot of these people that are on my Facebook page, we're from the area. I mean, Mobile is 30 minutes from Ocean Springs, Mississippi. So it's pretty much the same neighborhood. So it's a lot of connections interconnected to these people. And some of the things that people are saying now is now they're not going to believe whatever this autopsy says. And I guarantee you Mississippi will be dropping their autopsy results probably this afternoon around 4 p.m. And we're going to be on that too. I guarantee you the stories aren't going to add up. They're going to continue the confusion. And you got people like Officer Tatum that's coming down, contributing to more confusion. This is the same guy that interviewed Benjamin Netanyahu and didn't really even push back or ask him any hard questions. And how many bodies Netanyahu got right now? You know what I mean? So if you're just coming in, we're waiting on the griot in NAACP press conference. It was supposed to start at 9:11. I mean, at 9. It's 9:11 right now. So we're going to see. But thanks for joining. You're on the Big Mic Drop, the world famous Big Mic Drop. I've been around here for a while. So hit like, subscribe, and share this broadcast. I don't even go live like I used to. But for this one, I did have to. But these Negroes out here, man, these Negroes. I'm going to show you this guy until they get started. I'm going to remove this. I'm watching. But I want to show you this video that I did yesterday. It's a guy out here that was talking crazy. So I did this video yesterday. If you didn't get a chance to see it, it's damn near gone viral on Facebook. I don't know how many I got yesterday. I mean, viral by my standards. So I'm not a real popular YouTuber.
Let me sit down as I talk to y'all. I just want y'all to really realize what the fuck is going on. Put it into perspective.
All right, let me pause this and frame it. So this is somebody, Damian Jackson, that I found on YouTube, on Facebook. And he pissed me off, man, because he said that we shouldn't even know who Nolan Wells is. And for a black face to step up, you cosplaying us, bro. So we know what you're trying to represent, right? But I know you're not us. But for a black face to step up and fill in that gap, saying that we shouldn't know who Nolan Wells is. And for the first day or two, Nolan Wells was missing. So getting news coverage and us knowing as a nation who he is, this man is pretty much promoting not giving media coverage to black people that are missing. That's what I equate it to. But check this fool out while we wait. This is just a little entertainment while we wait.
What we're witnessing. They are live streaming Nolan Wells' funeral. You didn't know who Nolan Wells was. I didn't know who Nolan Wells was. That's not a bad thing. Something happened to Nolan.
All right, so that's not a bad thing. Us not knowing who he was is not a bad thing. This is your race beta, your race grifter right here, guys.
Wells, and it's going to affect him, his family, his friends, and his classmates in that community. They have turned this into a national spectacle, not headlines, a national spectacle. They have made this about race, even though the people there said it's not about that.
The mic drop. All right, family. I didn't even go through all the theatrics with this show, with this live. It starts again. The race baiting, the race grifting, and the misinformation and disinformation from niggas. We're going to learn a real important lesson today about why all skin folk ain't kinfolk. His people don't understand this. Let's get to it.
So you got outsiders coming in and making it something that is not. That it is not.
Okay, outsiders coming in, making it something that is not. My brother, and I got under your comments, you didn't answer. Where the hell are you from? You're not from here. You're not a black American. We could tell. And there's several things you can do to tell. I would like to see this part of your arm and see if you got that shot that leaves a big scar about the size of a nickel on your arm. That's how you identify who's not black American. Now, there are some cool people from different places. We got cool Jamaicans, we got cool Haitians, we got cool Cubans, we may even have some cool Argentinians out here. I doubt it. But these people are outsiders. They're coming in, they're race baiting, and they're race grifting. And I'm gonna tell you who the #1 victims of race grifting and race baiting are. Let's finish listening to this clown.
Based on, you have to go with the people that live there.
This guy has zero understanding of what it's like to be black in Mississippi. I guarantee you this ninja sitting up in New York, somewhere up north, Boston, and they probably bust him upside his head up there too. He just ignores it because it's way better than where he came from. I'm gonna be honest, I think this guy is probably Jamaican based off of his accent. And there's nothing wrong with Jamaicans. I love Jamaica. I've been to Jamaica. But don't sit up and act like Jamaica ain't got a bunch of problems. Do not sit up and act like Jamaica ain't got a bunch of problems. I've seen some of the most disgusting shit I ever seen in my life in Jamaica. And I don't even want to get on St. Lucia. But we got to watch out for these people that come out. And it was people in the comments, oh, he looks like you and this and that. See, that's white people. And so that's the grift with these people. The grift is to race bait white people. Those are the ones.
We'll get ready to get started in roughly 2 minutes. Thank you.
Long 2 minutes, long 2 minutes. I don't know if it's a good sign or a bad sign. And I know I'm nervous because I'm drinking coffee back to back to back this morning. I've had like 3 cups. This is my 3rd cup of coffee. So no sugar this time. Can't bring myself to drink it black yet. I'm pro-black, just not pro-black coffee. If this turns out to be foul play, I'm going to be the first to say it. I want Javon and I want that Trayston kid. I want them arrested. And I want them, well, however they got to arrest them. And I want them questioned, interrogated a little deeper. You know, everybody running the TMZ, everybody running here and there and saying shit, getting their little 15 minutes of fame, but I don't trust it. And if this is foul play, I want those 2 gentlemen scrutinized a little bit more. But I feel like today's findings are going to determine whether Mississippi is engaged in a statewide cover-up. And I'm talking about not the citizens of Mississippi, but here we go. All right, we're live, guys.
Good morning. My name is Trevon Williams, Senior Vice President of Marketing Communications with the NAACP. We are here because a demand was made, a demand for transparency, a demand for answers, and a demand for ultimate justice on behalf of Nolan Wells. And that demand must be honored. Amen. For that, we are honored to pause even for a moment to respond accordingly here at our national convention. Momentarily, you will hear from renowned civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump, who will provide updates on the findings of the independent autopsy that was conducted in the death of Nolan Wells. Immediately following that, we will take questions from credentialed media. We'll attempt to answer as many questions as we can. However, we want to be respectful of the fact that we do have additional programming that is going on to conclude our convention today as well. So we're asking that all press and media, if you're asking questions, please be concise, give your name, give your media credential, and we'll go from there. But before he comes, we will have the leader of the NAACP, President Derek Johnson, to give opening remarks. President Johnson.
Good morning. Good morning. Far too often our young people are confronted with challenges, and many jurisdictions and states don't take those challenges serious. We cannot allow another individual, particularly a young Black man's death, go uninvestigated. We have seen this happen over the years, not only in Mississippi, but across the country. It is unfortunate that our young people only seek to enjoy life, and as a result of participating in activities, no longer have life. For the NAACP, we take this and many other cases serious because every person matters. I want to thank the Mississippi State Conference, particularly Alitra Perryman, for working with the family and supporting the family on the onset. Because it's difficult to lose a loved one, it's even more difficult to navigate a process when all eyes are on you. And the pressure of balancing between grieving and navigating is upon you. And so For the ACP family, this is our role, is to step in, to support when the families have an issue like this, and the local officials seem not to hold people accountable. It's unfortunate when you see news reports and law enforcement officials are repeating what individuals are saying as opposed to investigate the individuals who gave you the information, because you don't know who was involved or not involved. Amen. And so narrative matters in this case. And we're saying that in Nolan Wells' situation, the narrative should not be it was an accident before there was an investigation. The narrative should not be the words of individuals who went on a boat to the island with him, but they came without him, but with his cell phone, and you don't investigate those individuals. We're not accusing anyone of anything other than the state of Mississippi and local officials. We're accusing them of being derelict in their duties. To follow up and to ensure that regardless of what happened, that there was the proper investigation so that this family and that community could be assured that if anyone was involved, they would be held accountable. And if it was truly an accident, that the families will have the necessary answers that any family deserves in this situation. I want to bring to the podium Attorney Benjamin Crump, a friend of mine who have stepped in to take the case and in support of the family to ensure that they get the answers that they deserve, and that local officials and anyone involved will be held accountable to this family, to that system, because we are all parents, siblings, to loved ones who should not be confronted with this reality. Attorney Crump.
Thank you very much, President Derrick Johnson, for your leadership, for the leadership of the Mississippi Conference of NAACP, and being there during the homegoing services to help the family go through what no parents want to go through. Thank you to Chairman Leon Russell, my longtime mentor from Florida, who helped raise so many of us. Thank you for always being there, Chairman Russell. As President Johnson said, I'm Attorney Ben Crump, representing the family of Nolan Wells, but it's not just me, it is a team effort of incredible, dedicated lawyers and investigators and paralegals. Attorney Lisa Park, attorney who you'll hear from in a few minutes, Attorney Eric Hertz, Attorney Gary Buchan, Attorney Camila Moore, Cliff Jones, Jared Presson, Alan Williams, our whole team of people who are committed, as I said, President Johnson, on this ferocious search for the truth of what really happened to Nolan Wells. But before we begin to discuss the intricacies of the preliminary findings of the independent autopsy, we think it would be appropriate for you all to hear from the people who knew Nolan Wells best, so they can thank you themselves and tell you about the trials and tribulations that they have been enduring since July 4th. July 4th would never be the same for them. I bring to the podium Nolan Wells' mother and father, Christine and Elmore. Please give them a warm NAACP welcome.
First of all, I want to say thank you all so much. Thank you to President Johnson as well as Chairman Russell. This has been a difficult journey. Losing a child, it truly breaks your heart. It is a pain that is just, you can't measure it. Especially someone like Nolan, who brought so much joy and light and life to everyone. You don't find too many genuine people like him. So to lose that light at such a young age under these circumstances has been absolutely difficult, which is why we've gone this route. There's so many people out in the public asking all of these questions, but the only question that we have is what happened to our son. That is the only question. We have consistently been degraded by the public. There's been questions about our parenting, our GoFundMe, this, that, and other. I've been called a racist. I am a healthcare provider, and I take my job very seriously. I love everyone. And it's been difficult for us, but we are leaning into our faith, leaning into one another, also leaning into all of you. There are not enough thank yous, not enough appreciation for what you guys have done for us. And we do. We love you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you. And so it is our hope that our local authorities will do what they need to do, because us having the preliminary autopsy results and hearing nothing from them, it's heartbreaking and it's concerning, which again is why we are here, why we have asked for this help. So again, thank you all so much for your support. We appreciate you, we really do.
Every day I wake up, it's a new challenge. Knowing that a part of me I will never talk to, I will never hold, I will never play around with or get mad at, it's not here anymore. Nolan brought a lot of joy to our family. He was the wittiest one out of everyone. The clown. He loved to put in the work because he wanted to be the best. He wanted to make me and his mother proud, and we were so proud of him just for being the person that he was. He was loving. All his teachers knew him, but loved him. He walks in the room, his aura, you're automatically drawn to it. Never met an enemy. And if they were, they would eventually be friends, because they will eventually bond, and it's gonna be hard. He should be at football practice right now. Yeah. Calling me after practice, Dad, I made this play, or I made that play, or I get a text with 3 or 4 videos of him doing this, running this route, making this block. And what you think? What you think I should do? And I will give my honest, because I always tell them, if anyone is going to be totally honest with you, it's going to be me. And it's not because I'm being mean, but people outside of your family are going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to know to make you better. It's going to be hard for our family from here on out. And like I said, every day is a challenge. We're going to miss our son. And like my wife said, we just want honesty. We want to know what happened to our son, because the things that you're telling us, that's not the character of our son. We know our son. I understand, our children would do things that, they would kind of dumbfound us sometimes, but the things that we're being told, there wasn't Nolan. So Please keep us in your prayers, keep him in your prayers. And we're gonna keep pushing and fighting until we find answers. Thank you guys for your love and support.
Thank you so much, Christine and Nolan. Christine and Elmore, Nolan's mother and father. Before we start to go over the preliminary findings from the independent autopsy, we will hear from Attorney Lisa Park to tell you about who was the forensic pathologist who conducted the autopsy. Attorney Lisa Park.
Thank you. Dr. Roger Mitchell could not join us today, but we felt it important before we reveal and unfold this report that you understand who conducted this autopsy. Dr. Roger Mitchell is a physician and board-certified forensic pathologist with 2 decades of experience. He currently serves as the president of the National Medical Association, which is the oldest and largest group of Black physicians in the U.S. Most recently, he also served as president of Howard University Hospital, chief medical officer of the Howard University Faculty Practice Plan, and chair of the Department of Pathology. Before joining Howard, he served as chief medical examiner for Washington, D.C. from 2014 to 2021, and is later as interim deputy mayor for the Public Safety and Justice. Dr. Mitchell has conducted and managed thousands of autopsies and is nationally recognized for his work at the intersection of medicine, public health, and justice. And for this case, we sought out the very best, and we are proud to be working with the very best.
Thank you, Attorney Park. I again want to express our gratitude to President Johnson, Chairman Russell, and the NAACP, because civil rights is more important than ever in the United States of America today. And so we thank you for the civil rights leaders stepping up to say that our children's lives matter now more than ever. And I want to thank all of you for getting up 8 in the morning. If people could see how many people are gathered here, they would say, you all are truly blessed to have the support of America, Christine and Elmore. And I want to thank the media for covering this matter, because they don't always cover when our children are taken away from us in highly unquestionable ways. And I do understand there's a lot of news going on in America today. I woke up to them saying LeBron James is going to announce where he's going to play basketball next year. But I'm very happy that the media said this story is just as important. And I'm sure LeBron James and Rich Paul and Stephon Curry and Draymond Green, Jaylen Brown, Embiid, Maxey, Giannis, Bam, and many other players in the National Basketball Association will all agree that our children's lives are far more important than where LeBron or any other player will play next year. And so that's why I thank you all for being here, because this news is as important as any news in the United States of America, finding out why is Nolan Wells dead. And I want to thank you all who have called the call center. I want to thank Reverend Al Sharpton. I want to thank Mr. Tyler Perry. I want to thank Mr. Terry Owens for putting up the $125,000 reward for anybody out there who have information so we can get to the truth of what happened. I mean, any videos, and we've gotten so many videos, President Johnson, from that day from young people, and we want them to have the courage to come forward with the pictures, what you heard. I know people said there were a lot of disturbances out there. Some believe it involved Nolan. All of those things are important to get to the truth of what happened. The fact, Christine, that the United Cajun Navy are so forthcoming. The fact that they told us, we haven't heard from any of their local officials, that Nolan was found face down, fully clothed. Well, that's significant to us because the last time we saw him on the videos, he was without a shirt. So at what point did he put on a shirt? Somebody saw something. Somebody knows something. There were almost 300, 400 people. Somebody knows something. So, Scott X, we're trying to just make sure people understand that you can call the Nolan Wells tip line at bencrump.com. We will gladly listen to you, take any information as we try to put together this puzzle of what happened to Nolan Wells. And today, we're gonna add some more parts to this puzzle because my legal team and I, we stand for truth, no matter who it implicates or who it exonerates. We stand for justice, no matter who it convicts or it acquits. Yeah, and we stand for transparency.
Come on with it, Ben. Come on now.
Because we got eyes that can see, and we don't need government officials having to narrate it for you and me. We can see it for ourselves. Transparency. That leads to the truth. The truth is the foundation for accountability and justice. And that's all we're seeking, as Christina Elmore said from day one. So with that, and Christina Elmore, if you all want to sit, we're about to go through this autopsy, and I know it may be a little emotional. Thank you, You're welcome to stay. You got the pointer? Let's go through this. How does the pointer work? Okay, let me do that right now. How does this pointer? As we
Guys, I'm going
begin
off
to
screen for this one, okay?
present the
I'll
preliminary
be back
findings
once
of the
it's over.
autopsy, we want to especially thank Mr. Colin Kaepernick for not thinking it robbery to pay for the autopsy. This is the first start. Let's go with the first one. Put it right up. So, where's the? I need the second page. That's the real one. An autopsy will be provided for the media at press@bencrump.com. And so, Mr. Jones, keep that. I don't need this one. I just need this one here. Pull this closer. So, pull this up here. So, Dr. Roger Mitchell, board certified forensic pathologist, performed a preliminary report on the death of Nolan Xavier Wells. He conducted and presented this report on July 19th, 2026. Preliminary report, second autopsy, death of Nolan Xavier Wells. Cause of death, undetermined, pending investigation. And we'll explain that as we go through the report this morning. The manner of death, undetermined, pending investigation. Statement of examination. This forensic pathologist was retained to perform a second autopsy examination on the body of Nolan Xavier Wells. Name of decedent, Nolan Xavier Wells, age 18 years old, race, black, gender, male, date of death, unknown. Second autopsy date was performed on July 10th, 2026. Preliminary findings, and this is significant. Focal area of red discoloration in the soft tissue of the back of the head, the occipital region. He said the etiology is unknown at this time. He said the body was received after the initial autopsy. He said the body had marked decompensation. He said corona incision of the scalp, brain removal, Y-shaped incision of the anterior torso, and he talked about the organs being removed as is common, accompanied in the body cavity. And that when you have an autopsy, the organs are removed from the body and they are dissected and examined, and then they are put back in a bag within inside the body. So when they're buried, their remains will all be with them. But in this occasion, if there's going to be a second autopsy, then the organs are put in the body cavity so the second pathologist could be able to examine the organs as well. Very significant for Dr. Mitchell was that the anterior inner neck structures were absent, not received with the body. And we'll explain that in just a minute. And then it talks about the additional procedures performed during the second autopsy. And we'll go into the paragraphs on that there because he explains it better in his narrative. So where's the first page of the discussion? Not the diagram yet. You can keep the diagram over there. Move this back, Lisa. So he talks in the preliminary discussion opinion. This forensic pathologist identified several limitations during the second autopsy that create barriers to establishing a definitive cause and manner of death for Nolan Xavier Wells. And that's important. He talks about the fact that we didn't get to see the body when it was first recovered, like the medical examiner working for Mississippi would have seen it. He talked about the second autopsy performed on Nolan Wells revealed marked decompensation or changes. Marked decompensation can obscure the presence and absence of bruising on the skin surface, especially during a second autopsy examination. What he's saying, because the body was so decomposed that you couldn't tell if there was bruises or abrasions on the body when he received it on the 10th of July. For these reasons, additional dissection procedures not performed during the first autopsy examination were performed to rule out potential blunt force injuries responsible for the death. These procedures included facial dissection, posterior head and neck dissection, dissection of the ribs, the pelvic, dissection of the subcutaneous and deep soft tissue, dissection of the back, the buttocks, the arms and legs. He did all of this to rule out things. He ruled out there were no fractures or deep tissue injuries identified. This was very important because he wanted to be very thorough and very transparent, because transparency is the key to getting to the answers of why Nolan Wells is not with us. So he did that there and was very straightforward, very open, very open. He says, however, dissection of the back of the head during the layered posterior neck dissection revealed a 12 by 8 inch focal area of red discoloration in the deep soft tissues overlaying the occipital bone. And he talked about how he found red discoloration when he cut open into the back of his head towards the occipital bone, and he saw the red discoloration, and we actually saw the pictures of it. It's significant. You can't help but notice, why is this dark red here in the back of his head? And so he was important to note that in his report. He said that etiology of this finding is unclear. There are no lacerations of the overlaying skin nor fractures of the underlying skull. These findings are inconclusive for perimortem injury due to the body due to both the extensive decomposition and the absence of associated injuries. This finding, however, is significant enough to be highlighted in this preliminary report for further investigation. It is important to reiterate that the finding could not have been observed in the first autopsy because the posterior head and neck dissection were not performed. He said another limitation, move this back here. Another limitation faced by this forensic pathologist was the absence of the anterior internal neck structures. The trachea and the laryngeal cartilage, the thyroid horn, and the hyoid bone were not received with the body. So he's saying that the throat was not received with the body when he got Nolan Wells' body in Washington, D.C. to perform the second autopsy. And so let's discuss that with what he said about that. He said, it is assumed that the initial pathologist retained these structures for additional evaluation. He said the retention of the anterior neck structures during an initial autopsy is a common forensic pathology practice. He was chief medical examiner for 7 years in Washington, D.C., and he said that if they had concern about throat or any fracture or compression of the throat, they too will hold them back. He doesn't know why they held the throat back, but he said the throat was not with the body of Nolan Wells when he received it in Washington, D.C. to perform the second autopsy. He said, nevertheless, a posterior neck dissection performed without review of the anterior neck structures is incomplete. Therefore, this pathologist cannot rule out injury to the neck as a contributor or a cause of death. He said he would need to have the medical examiner in Mississippi allow him to review the throat. That's why he said his autopsy is undetermined pending investigation. Remember, it's about transparency. Because the initial autopsy rightfully removed and dissected each organ, there are additional limitations inherent in the second autopsy of Nolan Wells. The most significant of the limitations was the inability to directly observe the airway and the lungs for water and directly observe the stomach for gastric contents. He said it is very significant as to what the initial forensic scientists who got to review the body when it was recovered. We have heard from our call center people saying the body wasn't waterlogged. Well, we need to know those things. But unfortunately, because the body was decomposed and the organs have already been dissected, those are things we can only get from the initial autopsy. So therefore, again, the manner and cause of death is undetermined until further investigation. We are hopeful that the Mississippi medical examiner would give Dr. Mitchell an opportunity to see their photographs and their observations to the condition of Nolan Wells' body closer in time to July 4th. That is very important, and we have to continue to demand transparency, President Johnson. In addition, the original toxicology results have not been received at the time of this report. And we continue to wait for the toxicology to come back because, again, that will be part of the investigation into Nolan Wells' autopsy by Dr. Mitchell. It is significant to note that it's many things that go into toxicology that only Dr. Mitchell would be able to opine upon, and medical experts can opine upon. And he feels the proper place to do that is before a grand jury in a courtroom. And so we would hope that the district attorney would present Dr. Mitchell before the grand jury as well. We want all relevant information to be heard by the grand jury. Lastly, in cases where a death has occurred in or around a body of water, this is important. Lastly, in cases where a death has occurred in or around a body of water with suspicion of drowning, it is important to confirm how that person entered the water. This is the crux of the matter. This information is especially important for those deaths of persons who can swim. As in the case with Nolan Wells, at the time of this report, this forensic pathologist does not know the condition of Nolan Wells. He did not know whether he was conscious or unconscious when he entered the water. He said that would be significant. He said he did not know whether he was forced into the water or unforced into the water. He said that would be significant. So he said the condition of Nolan Wells before he entered the water would be the crux of the matter. It would be of utmost importance to being able to determine a cause and manner of death. He said, definitive circumstances of death are required to determine the manner of death. For these reasons, this pathologist cannot rule out, and let me really call your attention to this. For these reasons, this pathologist cannot rule out if any intervening non-accidental factors contributed to or caused the death of Nolan Wells. Understand, he's saying based on the examination of the body, he cannot rule out foul play. That is significant. With the following questions still outstanding, number one, what were the circumstances that led to Nolan Xavier Wells entering the water? Number two, what was the body position when it was found? We know that a member of the United Cajun Navy said that he was face down and he was fully clothed. Number three, where's there water in the airway? Remember, he talked about the lungs and the airways, were they filled with water? Number four, is there any evidence of injuries to the anterior neck structure? We got the autopsy without his neck. We got the body without his neck at the time of the second autopsy. Number 5, is there any evidence of any intracranial hemorrhaging? He said that is going to be very significant. Things that he could not observe at autopsy that the initial medical examiner would have been able to observe. Number 6 was the composition of what was the composition of the stomach contents. He talks about that being important because when was he found? How long had he been in the water? How long had it been since his last meal? All those things become relevant factors when you're trying to do a thorough and impartial autopsy. And number 7, what are the toxicology report findings? He said the best classification again for the cause and manner of death for Nolan Xavier Wells is undetermined pending investigation. This forensic pathologist reserves the right to review and incorporate additional forensic pathology information into his opinion as it becomes available. He says the above opinions are expressed to a reasonable degree of medical certainty. Dr. Roger A. Mitchell, July 19, 2026. And we know that, as I said, this is only another part of the puzzle. And even though it tells us significant information, we still have more questions than we have answers at this time. And we will continue to press forward and persist, Christine and Elmore, with getting the answers to these questions. Because yes, we will persist, because as Christine and Elmore and Attorney Parker and I talked this morning, we know that there are so many conflicting stories. The fact that she said him being found face down, the fact that we have other videos where people who have called said that is Nolan, who is in some kind of dispute with others. We're looking at all of these things. The fact that the GPS tracking of the boat is being questioned by many. We're trying to dot every I and cross every T, because we understand that when our children's lives are at stake, it matters. Not just what happened, but what we do in the aftermath of them being taken away from us. And just like the NAACP stood up when another tragedy in Mississippi taking the life of young Emmett Till, we will stand up for Nolan Wells. Just like the NAACP and civil rights leaders stood up when another Mississippi son was taken in Medgar Evers. We will stand up for Nolan Wells. And just like too many of our young people, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Botham Jean, Terrence Crutcher, Stephon Clark, Sandra Bland, Atiana Jefferson, Alton Sterling, Eric Gardner, George Floyd, Tamir Rice, the young people who I was trying to focus on. Gary, we stand up until we get the truth, until we get justice for Nolan Wells. 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 We were asked if Christine and Elmore and President Johnson can come back and join us on the stage. And Trevon, we will have you coordinate questions and answers for us or President Johnson or Attorney Park and I. I will say this: as President Johnson comes to the stage, I was sharing this with him and Chairman Russell, Christine Clark. God knows we wish we had you at the Department of Justice now. Christine Clark. As I was sharing with President Johnson and Reverend Al and others, this is so important that we continue to talk about Nolan Wells and what happened to him, and that we get attention on him, because in getting attention on him, it brings attention, Cliff Jones, to other cases that are not getting their attention as of yet. But I'm so grateful to Christine and Elmore, because they said whatever we can do, not only to help our son, but to help these other young Black boys who was killed the July 4th holiday. And I want to take a moment before we answer your questions to talk about two other young Black men, both 18 years old, who were killed in extraordinary ways that are very similar to Nolan. President Johnson, 18-year-old Daniel Irvins went on a fishing trip, out on a fishing boat with two other young men. He was the only Black. It is alleged that he ended up accidentally drowning, but his two white friends got his cell phone and threw it away, got his clothes and threw it away, and then went and deleted all of their text messages with him and social media. Sounds familiar? And they've only been charged with tampering with evidence. And his mother is crying out that they should be charged with murder, because if they would lie about his cell phone and his clothes and deleted messages, then they will lie about what really happened to Daniel Irvins. And then there's the matter, President Johnson, Christine Clark, of 18-year-old Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith, on 4th of July, was at a house party with about 10 other people. He was the only Black person at the house. He somehow ends up shot in the head, dead. Some of the friends get rid of the gun. The police show up. They tell the police it was an accident. It was an accidental shooting, that they were playing Russian roulette. And Tyler Smith ended up getting killed. And apparently, Christine Clark, President Johnson, the police just took their word for it. His mother and grandmother are incensed. They asked the police, did you do a gunshot residue test on his hands? And the reason they said they had to call us, like Daniel Irvins and Noah,
I'm gonna let it ride through the questions. I want to hear the questions that they have, and we'll get back to it.
logic, but they said if they were playing Russian roulette, then all of them will have gunshot residue on their hands. So we don't need to do gunshot residue tests. It makes no sense whatsoever. So they're taking the word of these 10 people that your son just killed himself. And you don't have to worry about doing any investigation or testing forensically anything. Just take our word for it. Now, can you imagine in any 3 of these scenarios, had the survivors been young black men and they were with a young white man and he ended up dead, what kind of investigation would that have been? What kind of interrogation would that have been? Would they have ever been able to see the light of day until those questions were answered? Well, just like you would do a thorough investigation for your children, we want you to do a thorough investigation for our children. We don't want anything special. We just want equal justice. Equal justice. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Trevon to lead us in the final session.
We'll have a few questions. We have my colleagues on either side with microphones. Please announce your name and your media outlet if you have any questions. We're going to be quick because we have other programming going on in real time. We'll go here first.
Oh, thank you. Hi, everybody. Samantha Chapman, ABC7 Chicago. You just unveiled a comprehensive outline of the independent report. Can you summarize for our viewers, because there's a lot to take in, a lot of information. So in summary, can you succinctly tell us what we can take away from this report? And also, if you can provide more details about the neck.
Yep.
I heard a lot of people behind me gasping when
Yep.
that detail was mentioned.
Yep. Let me try to be very comprehensive. As Dr. Roger Mitchell said, that the focal area of red discoloration in the soft tissue of the back of the head, the occipital region, is significant because he cannot determine why you have that red discoloration in the back of his brain. That's significant. He also talked about, Mr. Williams, if you can, just the fact that as it's common practice, he was missing his throat when they received the body. And he wants to know why they held it back. He's not drawing any conclusions, but he said he would want to examine it if there were neck fractures or compressions to the neck. And he thinks that's significant to know at autopsy. The reason he said he would hold it back when he was medical examiner because he thought that there may have been some issues with neck fractures. The last thing that is significant is what we said before about him, the condition of his body when he went into the water. Was he conscious or unconscious? Was he forced or unforced into the water? He said those things are very significant. But he started off talking about this red discoloration in the back of his head is something that was of great concern to him. Thank you.
We'll go here.
Daryl Denard with Chicago Speaks on V103. What specifically are you calling for from Mississippi authorities in terms of transparency, but more importantly, investigations?
I know President Johnson is from the state of Mississippi, and the Mississippi Conference president is here. They're calling, as we are, for a fair, impartial, comprehensive investigation. When Nolan's parents heard the sheriff say there's no foul play at the beginning of the investigation, that is cause for concern, major concern. You haven't even investigated, but you're saying no foul play. And so we want them to dot every I and cross every T. You know, we had a meeting with the district attorney, and we expressed to them about our lived experiences. The fact, and you know, they said that's not what happens in her office, but we said we believe if the roles were reversed and there were 3 young black 18-year-olds and there was a white 18-year-old who was with them and he ended up dead, we don't believe that those young black men would not have been interrogated to the full extent of the law. We believe that it would not have been a choice whether they were going to cooperate with law enforcement if their lawyers and them were going to cooperate. No, they would have been held until they gave answers. They would have been held until they explained the cell phone in their possession. They would have been held until their cell phones have been examined. And so whatever you would do, had the roles been reversed, we want you to do the same thing for Nolan Wells.
We have time for one more question, and then we're going to have a prayer with our Religious Affairs Committee with the family. One more question here. My sister.
I'm Tiffany Walden with the Tribe in Chicago. I know that we're talking about a transparent investigation, but for families and people who are watching, can you kind of give a breakdown or a timeline to the best of your ability of the contact that you've had with Mississippi authorities or Ocean Springs authorities or the Cajun Navy? Have you all talked to them? Do they call you after the initial autopsy? Is it just radio silence from them? Do you have to call them? Can you kind of walk us through that process?
So
Good question.
the last time we actually spoke with local authorities, which would be the sheriff's department, was I think a day or 2 after his body was found. That was only initiated by me. I sent him a text message. I was like, hey, this is Christine, Nolan's mom. I just want to see if there are any updates. Basically, he called back. There were no updates. He's like, we're still interviewing. And again, my concern, and also my husband's concern, was it was not even an hour that his body had been removed. And the sheriff came out and said, this is, accidental drowning. We don't think there's foul play. Again, that is why we're doing what we're doing and why we're moving the way we are. Because I sat there and asked them, please take this case as if this is your child, yes, your family member, your whatever. And they promised that they would, but when you make statements like that straight out the gate, that's an issue. We did meet with the DA. She did promise, transparency and all of this, all of that. However, damage has already been done because now that's the narrative that's being pushed by the general public, who again, know nothing really, only what they're hearing from other people. So in addition to that, it's all these things coming up. And at the end of the day, like I said before, any parent that would be in this situation, you would do anything to find out what happened to your child. And that is what we're here to do.
It is very important to note that this narrative, this suggestion that it was an accidental drowning, nothing to see here, is troubling, even if that's the case. There were 300 to 400 people out on Horns Island. You mean to tell me nobody saw anything? Nobody can tell us anything about what happened to one of the few black people that were out there on that island that day? It just doesn't add up. The fact that they're saying Nolan said that he would stay behind, but yet an 18-year-old kid would not want his cell phone if he was going to stay behind. The fact that, you have the young lady saying that he said he was going to get back on the boat with the boys, and then the boys saying no, he said he was going to stay behind and talk to her. If that was the case, don't you believe Nolan would have said, give me my cell phone, I'm gonna stay behind. Give me my car keys, I'm gonna stay behind. It's not adding up. And so we're gonna keep fighting and digging until we get the answers, the transparency, the truth, the accountability, and justice for Nolan Wells. 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 Justice for Nolan Wells.
Justice for Nolan Wells.
Justice for Nolan Wells.
Justice for Nolan Wells. We're going to have our Religious Affairs Committee join us quickly so we can have a quick word of prayer with the family, and that will conclude our press conference formally.
Good morning. It's a good morning in spite of all that we have heard. It's a good morning because we're here for justice. I'm Reverend Wendell Anthony from the Detroit branch and also a member of the National Board of Directors and a part of the Religious Affairs Committee, joined by colleagues who are here. I'm going to ask all of you if you would be so kind as to just link arms. Just link arms so that we can link ourselves around this particular moment and around this family. There's an old African proverb that says, those whom we love die only in the physical sense, but their spirit continues to live on in the will and determination of those whom they leave behind. Mr. and Mrs. Wells, I did not know your son, but I could tell from just looking at his photograph, I can feel the aura, the joy that you talked about. We all can experience and feel that. Ben Crump has chronicled the list of pain moments in our community by the deceased and by those who are now martyrs. We have been dying since 1619, still seeking justice. Pray with me. O Lord, our Lord, how very excellent is thy name in all the earth. We are here for but one reason: to answer the question, what does the Lord require of us? But to do justice, to love mercy, to even walk humbly with our God. Lord God, your people are here beseeching justice. We're here for transparency. We're here for truth. You who are the way, the truth, and the life, we're here because of you. Lord God, how long must we continue to pay evil a toll at the gateway towards justice? How long must we see our children lie bleeding in the streets, in the sand, in the water, on the asphalt pavements of this nation that we built? Even on July the 4th, a day that serves a lesson in mockery and dichotomy, where we talk about independence, yet we are not independent from those who seek justice. Help us, Lord. Bless us right now. Bless this family. Cover this mother whose tears fall down her cheeks. Cover this father as he remembers his son whom he taught and whom he mentored to play in life, but more importantly, to play the game the way it should be played in living. Lord God, we thank you so much. We've gone down the roads. They lied on Martin. They lied on Medgar. They lied on Malcolm. But more importantly, oh God, they lied on you. You who know about lies. We know that the truth shall eventually set us all free. Help us to get the truth, even in Mississippi. Oh Lord, help us to get the truth for our children. You know, like we know, there are more black boys in school than are in jail. We know, oh God, that there are more of us who are striving for the benefit of life rather than the poison from living. Oh Lord, how long will justice continue to lift up her brow so that she can see who is standing before us, so she can make a decision that is not in our interest, but in the interest of those who seem to be different from us. Help us, Lord. Don't we as a people bleed like everybody else? Don't we as a people need comfort like everybody else? Don't we as a people need justice like everybody else? Don't we as a people feel the pain when our children are taken from us like everybody else? Help America, Lord, because America has a problem. We don't have a problem. America has a problem. Fix the problem. In 250 years, we still seem to suffer from the same old problem. Fix America, oh God. Fix justice, oh God. Fix us, oh God. Fix Mississippi, oh God. Fix those who are standing at the gateway to break open the doors for justice. Not just us, but justice. Help us now, Lord. This is our prayer. This is our plea as we seek that which you have the power to give, and that is justice. The just shall live by their faith. The just shall live by their faith. And oh Lord, we know that when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. Let's win in the name of justice. Let the people who love God, who are called according to his name for every good purpose, who believe in justice, say amen, amen, amen. Now give justice a hand praise. We praise God for justice.
Amen. Amen.
God bless you.
Woo, Rev. What up, Tom?
What's up? What's up?
On, man?
Shit, not much, man. Another day.
Worst possible answer we could have got today.
Yeah, I know. Pretty much nothing.
That undetermined, undecided.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely starting to reek a little bit more to me now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's starting to reek of something more sinister, something deeper. Now,
yeah, it's a little hard for me only because Big Crump has to have somebody else read. Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
No, absolutely. Uh-oh, you went out, Tommy. No, you froze up. I know you were just about to make a good point, too. Go out and come back in.
Am I back? Okay.
Yeah, I hear you now. You're not moving like you were, but I hear you.
Okay, yeah, no, he's a horrible orator. Like, and you know, everybody's good at certain things. Bro,
yeah,
you gotta let somebody else do that. Like, it's just, you know, stick to your strengths. But I wish the doctor.
I'm gonna go to the website and download the report
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
probably gonna send it over to my mom and then get
yeah.
her to come on and
Okay.
decipher it for us. I'll call
Yeah.
her and see what she's doing tonight, and we'll probably
Okay.
double back tonight to really get into the report. But I got to get it
Yeah.
over to her and let her read it. But go ahead with what you were saying.
No, I was gonna say I wish the doctor was there to actually, read it himself and explain it himself, because I don't think Ben Crump knew what the hell he was talking about, with all due respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not a doctor, he's a lawyer. So for me, it's like, if you're reading something, if not the actual doctor, an actual doctor there to read it, so then they can explain it. Because even afterwards, when they had questions, it was like, hell, you answered the same way I would have answered it. Like, oh, the red spot on the back of his neck. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. And it literally sounds like it. And that's the part that kind of irritates me with stuff like this, is like, if like, that's the part where, like, people like Ben Crump and them, I feel like the ego comes in. Because, like, bro, you're not a doctor. Common sense would tell you, if you can't get the actual person that did the report, bring a doctor in there. It's more than him out there. You know what I'm saying? Bring somebody that's local to y'all, that's right there in the area. Bring
Right.
somebody that understands this report to explain it to us. Because you did not. What you just did, I can go to bencrump.com, read it, and get this, like, the exact same thing from it.
Right.
I need somebody there that actually understands this and can break it down in layman's terms. And he couldn't. Hell, he could half-ass get through the report, with all due respect. So I think that's an ego thing. I think that's I'm in front of this. I want to be the one to read it. And I'm like, bro, and I think that's what a lot of people's issue is when you get with your Jessies and your Als and, now Ben Crumps and them, is I think they get into it for the good, and then that ego comes in. And then that, when they start moving off of ego, it pushes people off. So that right there kind of, again, like, I appreciate the work he's doing. I'm not going to, you know what I'm saying? But it's like,
we got to keep our eyes on the prize with this.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because what you're saying, I understand. But then really put it into this context, Tommy. You had a fucking hick sheriff that pulled the body out the water and made a determination on the spot.
Oh no, for sure. No. So, this is nothing to put on for them. I'm just saying the presentation could have been a lot better.
I'm not saying put on for them.
Yeah.
I'm making a great point. What I'm saying is, think about it in regards to a sheriff.
Oh, absolutely,
who probably goes and gets hammered every day after he gets off at the bar and takes the police car home drunk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He making a determination too. So Ben Crump definitely showed that he's not a medical professional. It definitely it was hard to listen to. That's why I had to get off the screen. It was hard to listen to. And I'm gonna get this over to my mother and have her decipher it for us. She can call on the phone or whatnot and decipher it for us. I don't feel like trying to teach her how to stream today, but at least get her on the phone and we can get the report pulled. But I think undetermined is bad. I'm concerned about the back of the head, and there's been things about him receiving a head injury from day one. Rumors floated. I haven't really discussed that on my show, but now I feel like it's time to go ahead and discuss that, since we have this the number one issue that we're having right now is this injury to the back of the head. That's problematic for me.
So I'm not trying to purport my way as any kind of an expert. I watch a lot of crime shows though. So with them not saying blunt force trauma, I didn't know if that was a good or a bad thing, because that's kind of what I was listening for. And I guess if it was signs of blunt force trauma, then they would have determined that it would have been a determination. It wouldn't have been an unknown. So when I didn't hear blunt force trauma, that kind of threw me a little bit, because now it's like, even in the process of drowning, you can injure yourself. And I think that's the part that people need to understand too. Like, if I drown, in the process of that, I can hit a rock, I can do all kind of things trying to save myself.
Right.
So it's not just wait a minute, he got this injury, can't be drowned. It's like, nah, you in the ocean, you're not in the swimming pool. So in the process of you trying to save yourself or whatever, you can, hit something and injure yourself. But I mean, I'm with you though, man. Like when I heard the mom say literally, you know, they came out a day after finding the body, just said, "Oh, yeah, accidental drowning." It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And the
Like, and then
characters involved,
exactly.
ignoring that they have the evidence, they have his possessions. You know what I'm saying? It's
Well,
things that need to be answered.
how about
People just
this?
go ahead.
They talked about how crowded Horn Island was. Where's the witness? Nobody witnessed this dude drowning. So
Nobody
he just
witnessed nothing.
mysteriously decided to go swim off by himself somewhere, drown, and nobody's like, "Yo, where's the only black dude that was here?"
I'm gonna
Like
show
nobody.
you something. I'm gonna show you something that I spotted on Facebook yesterday, Tommy.
Okay.
And I want to talk about this. I just thought this was interesting, and I'm gonna put this guy out on blast just because you shouldn't be on here saying stupid shit.
Oh, not that guy.
No, not him. No.
Oh, okay,
This
I was about
dude
to
mentioned
say.
a name. This is an overlay.
Okay.
So this is what we found on Facebook yesterday. Marcus Holcomb, and this was about Nolan Wells. He got busted with Dante old lady, and now he be dead. I would like to know who Dante is, Marcus Holcomb.
Absolutely.
This is the first name I've seen drop besides Wyatt and, you know, the other guys. And I would like to know what this means. He got busted with somebody old lady. You know, I'm not trying to interject something. I just thought that was weird.
Yeah.
I thought that was weird, but it could be somebody just on social media talking shit. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
the hard part. You got so many people that just seeking attention and they'll say anything and everything just to, you know, go
Well,
viral.
I think this case needs to go federal at this
for
point
sure.
in time. But
For sure.
you know, look at the DOJ that we have now.
Well, I
But
was gonna say,
definitely
yeah.
think that this case needs to go federal. I think the
Absolutely.
FBI needs to be involved. We need to keep the pressure on the FBI. We need to keep the pressure on Mississippi authorities. I think the medical examiner needs to step down because she's problematic. I think that judge needs to step from her position because what she's done by interjecting her opinion in the beginning was problematic and trying to set the narrative. So it's a lot of things that need to happen.
Yeah.
But I'll just say this, man, prepare for war.
Yeah.
And not a physical war, but prepare for a spiritual war. Prepare for emotional war, especially if you're on social media, because now they really about to turn up with the bullshit talk. They about to turn up with it. But I'm making an assertion right now, and this may be inconvenient and unfair, but I want Javon and Trayston arrested and questioned. I want them arrested,
Well,
especially Trayston. More so Trayston than Javon. But Javon did some weird shit and jumped out there. I don't know if he was clout chasing or whatnot, but he did some weird shit and jumped out there like real early. But that Trayston kid, we received so much hate. He just interjected himself out of nowhere, bro. You know what I'm saying? And started thinking, we.
Again, the phone thing, the keys. Nobody finds that weird. This dude is missing. You got his phone, you got his keys, and nothing in your head. And y'all supposed to be bestest of friends, and nothing in your head said, let me go get this to his parents. And hey, by the way, where is he?
Where is he? Right.
No, that's your best friend. He ain't popped back up. You got his keys and his cell phone. First thing I'll be doing is try to get him on the line. Yo, I got your keys and your cell phone. Where you at? Hey, Mom. Hey, I got his keys and cell phone. You heard from him?
Right.
And nobody finds it weird that none of this was going on. And this is like, I'm not saying something that's out the ordinary. I'm saying something that's regular, ordinary stuff. You know what I'm saying?
My best friend, I got his mama's number.
Yeah.
I could call his mom. She know who I am. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I call her mama. Hey, mama.
Same thing. And
You see
even
what I'm
with the judge, like the statement, your son loved him.
Right.
So you didn't?
You didn't love him.
That's kind of weird for a best friend, because
Look,
usually if you're
I
best
got that
friend,
statement. I got that statement right here.
yeah.
Here it go right here. This was the first Facebook post that she made. Our family, along with the community, grieves the loss of Nolan Wells, which is real proper. You know what I'm saying? Our thoughts and prayers are with Nolan's family. Now it gets a little more personable. Our
Well,
son
hold
Warren
on.
loved Nolan.
You don't name
dearly.
his mom and dad by name, and that's the best friend. It's not, hey, Christina Elmore. It's family.
Right.
And again, this is best friends.
Now she did name the mother.
Okay.
She graduated high school with her. We're from the same
Oh,
community. I have the utmost respect for her and all the Wells family. We mourn the loss of Nolan with them. Our prayers have been and will continue to be with them.
but
My
but
husband
even
and
that, so
I
that
were
even
not
more
on Horn
kind of
Island
trips
at
me out,
any.
Mike. So
You say
you do
what?
know her personally.
Yeah, they know each other personally.
Okay. So you know her personally, and your sons are supposed to be best friends, but your son loved him, not we all loved him.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, the way that they were moving, they kind of put the spotlight on themselves. But I'm going
Absolutely.
to tell you what pisses me off more about Mississippi is in the law enforcement and the handling of this. Now they injected themselves into the narrative by, like you said, keeping the boys, keeping his property and
Yeah.
his missing, deactivating social media, lawyering up, and then getting on social media to promote, this narrative.
The narrative, yeah.
And create the narrative, spin the narrative. So they started moving suspect immediately. They put the spotlight on themselves. But
Absolutely.
what pisses me off about Mississippi is it was 300 or 400 people out there, according to what Ben Crump just said. It was 300 to 400 people out there, which means it was probably dozens, if not hundreds of boats out there. So it was at least dozens of boats out there. It could have been 100 boats or more out there.
Yeah.
So he could have been killed by any pole cracker in Mississippi, and they weren't going to investigate it.
Yeah.
So at this point in time, it has nothing to do with poor and rich. It just has something to do with they weren't going to investigate it because of who he was. Because he could have been killed by anybody out there. He could have been drowned. He could have been forced off a boat. He could have got a ride with somebody, and they kicked him off the boat in the middle of the Gulf 5 miles into the trip. We don't know because they have not been following the process. And if they have not been keeping the public up to date on the situation. They don't have any suspects. They don't have nothing.
So,
but I would like to somebody go ahead and drill down on this Dante thing, because I think that, I don't know. It could be a lead. You never know.
Yeah.
And when you're in a position where people aren't being transparent with you, everything is a potential lead. Everything is a potential lead.
My issues with smaller communities like that is not even just on some race stuff. It's a lot of BS that goes on in them communities that people say, like me, from the big cities, aren't even aware of. I find out when I start seeing little documentaries and stuff like, wait, they get away with that shit? Because nobody's paying attention to them little small law enforcement places. Right. So you say you get somebody that's a sheriff's son, that's a deputy's son, that's a judge's son, and they're all clicked in. I don't care if you black, white, brown, it don't matter. If their son is involved, they're going to make that shit go away really, really fast. Now, on top of all that, we're in Mississippi and it's a black dude, and you know, it's even more sauce on it. But I'm saying it don't matter who, when you're dealing with small towns like that, we call them drive-through towns, man, people would be surprised how much BS goes on in small towns like that. And it doesn't make the news because nobody cares, because you're in podunk nowhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's swept under the rug, and it might be whispered around town, but that's about as far as it goes, And so when you're dealing with something like that, and then you include, the factor of him being black, and then, you got a judge's kid involved, et cetera, we seen the same thing with Buddy in Georgia that rolled himself in the mat. And the two suspects was an FBI agent's son. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you
But
know,
even
and not
look at Ahmaud Arbery. Look at how that
Yep.
situation was handled because dude worked with the DA. That would have
Absolutely.
stayed. That would have stayed enclosed, encapsulated within that one little jurisdiction.
Yep.
If that video wouldn't have come out.
If 100%. Yep. If it
You know,
did,
those guys
if
would have
that
still been
idiot,
walking around today.
if that idiot then post that video, somehow thinking it was self-defense,
Oh yeah.
like you said, it would have been like, oh, you know, he was breaking in houses. Keep it going. And that would have been it. So, and that's not to say that, you know, this don't happen in big cities. It's just if it happens in the big cities, it's a bigger lens on it. You
Yeah,
go to
big
these
cities
small
have their
cities.
big cities have their level of corruption.
Absolutely,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So the thing about big cities is kind of the opposite side. It's still it's still a lack of oversight because there's so many people. So
Exactly,
you
yeah.
can have a lack of oversight with a small group, and then you can get to a point to where you have such a large group that you can't provide oversight. And you know, anytime humans are empowered and they feel like they have their little fiefdoms, you know what I'm saying, that they can operate in, then you know they're gonna abuse that power. So
I think the only difference I think with the bigger cities is just it's more eyes, so it's more people to care, and it's the more people, the less you can intimidate. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're in a small town and you the sheriff and you kind of the end all be all, or you're a judge or whatever, say something if you want to. You know what I'm saying? Now when you in a bigger city and there's multiple you got to deal with, and then hell, most big cities you got an FBI headquarters in the city.
Yeah.
So, you know, so it's hard to be the big dog there. But like you said, I mean, it's corruption everywhere. I just think when it happens in those smaller towns, it's more accepted because the rest of the world don't care. We don't even know y'all exist. So, I mean, I remember when I was watching the Making a Murderer documentary, and I don't know if the dude did or not, but it was a lot of stuff going on where I was like, oh, so y'all law enforcement don't like this family, so y'all just gonna keep going out. Like, it don't, like, damn, that's kind of crazy.
But think about that area though, like a real layout. You've been in that area. You were stationed over in that area.
Yeah.
You do. I mean, it's just a suburb of Biloxi. It's almost a twin city of Biloxi. So it's still a good 100,000 people there. It's not like you know what I'm saying? It's not like
Okay. So
state. It's
got
still
you.
100,000 people in that area. You got casinos in Ocean Springs.
Okay.
But you gotta study the history of that area.
Yeah.
In Biloxi, in the 80s, look up the story about Biloxi in the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah, they took a judge out in Biloxi. Like it's another crew over that whole little area. So, and I have no reason to believe that they're still not operating. So, it's a little bit deeper than what we're seeing as far as the corruption within law enforcement. I'm not saying, you know, however Nolan died is deeper, but it's deeper as far as the mechanics and the way that's put together over there. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a collection of little small cities.
I mean,
they do make a pretty big metro area.
You know how what Lane Kiffin just said when he left.
What?
And he was talking about how the you know, it's kind of hard to sell I forget where Ole Miss at.
Oxford, Mississippi.
Oxford, it's kind of hard to sell Oxford, Mississippi to a lot of the black recruits because their parents is like, hell no.
Man, look,
You know
I'm
what
gonna
I'm
be
saying?
honest. I didn't agree with the NAACP in the beginning. I definitely would not send my black student to a Mississippi SEC school.
Yeah.
I would go a little bit further with the prejudice and get a little bit more specific with the discrimination. I would definitely agree with not signing up to go to a SEC school in Mississippi and play any kind of sport. At this point in time, if you don't realize as a black person that the only thing important is your body to them, and then soon as something happened to you, your body's no longer important. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's something about Mississippi, and I'm gonna put on a little quick film while I'm on here because I want to discuss, and I'm gonna start putting my foot on the necks of some of these niggas, bro. I'm gonna tell you why, because they don't have any protection, and they need to know that, and they need to have somebody actively at their ass, and that's me at this point in time. This case has shown me something, because Nolan Wells was last seen alive with 4 white guys or 3 white guys.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, we've had 4 niggas step out and talk publicly, including Officer Tatum stepping out to try to.
I just seen he interviewed old boy.
Yeah, tried to provide cover for people. You know what I'm saying? So he's in that crew too. But the coach, Javon, and Trayston, they've all stepped out to speak, but we haven't heard from the last people that saw this brother alive. So you could tell the story to the public and make it make sense. Like I said the other day on my live, I would have been the type of friend, I would have been over there as soon as I found out he was missing. I would have been at his mama's house by his side.
Common sense.
Regardless of what the public thought, at the end of the day, his mom would have stepped up for me. Like, nah, you know what I'm saying? If you didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So now it's time to key in on these guys, man. It's time to key in on them, time to keep up the pressure on them.
Certain stuff is just natural human behavior. So I watched a video yesterday, and it was this DJ from Atlanta that had his wife knocked off. And so they were questioning him, and his thing was the ADT alarm went off. He goes in the house. He looks in the room where his wife was. It just keeps him moving or whatever, because he yelled and she didn't say nothing. And officers are like, so you didn't go in there and shake her and go, oh, no, because I was scared. And it's like, bro, certain stuff is just natural human behavior.
Right.
If you aren't responding, I'm going to shake you. If you're missing and I got your phone and your keys, I'm going to tap in.
Immediately.
I'm for sure not going to try to make it harder for you to retrieve the items.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so, and like you said with these dudes, and anybody that's questioning people having a problem with this case, look up Black people's history in Mississippi, and then come to me with an argument of why people are having an issue with this case. Because it's very well documented. This ain't shit that we make up. And I'm not even talking about going all the way back to the old black and white TV days. Look at the history of Black people in Mississippi with white folks, and then you tell me why are we jumping to conclusions. And then you add in the fact that, like I said, people got his keys in the cell phones, they said nothing. Ain't nobody witnessed the drowning, even though it was hundreds of people out there. You know, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like, for you to even question why we're suspicious of this off that bat just tells us you're an idiot off the bat. Because common sense would tell you to be suspicious of it. You know what I'm saying? So, like you said, any of these Black dudes that's even speaking out about it, the only way I can look at it is just you're a coon. And like you said, you race bait.
You're a
period,
coon.
point blank.
Because even the coach, why would somebody keep asking these Black guys, was it about race? If you don't know what happened to the boy, you definitely can't establish a fucking motive.
Yep.
You see what I mean? So you could tell they were running a script, running a narrative, and they playing ball. Hey, I'm gonna put this video on. It's important right now. Did you know that it was a Black dude that helped lynch Emmett Till?
Hell no.
You didn't know that?
Not surprised, but hell no.
I'm gonna put this on. It's about 13 minutes, Tommy.
Okay.
I'm gonna put this on. I'm gonna go up, get some water. But I would like you guys to watch this. And I'm gonna tell you, this is not bullshit. This is from the late, great Ed Bradley, who was one of the best journalists in journalistic history. So credibility is not gonna be an issue on this. And we're gonna talk about how this ties into this case, because Ben Crump was calling out Kristen Clark a couple of times today. Let's not forget Kristen Clark was in the DOJ, and Kristen Clark could have got Carolyn Bryant charged for the death of Emmett Till. I want you to watch this in-depth dive that Ed Bradley did on the death of Emmett Till. This is fair use. Yeah, give me 1 second. Let me find this shit. It's a lot. I got a lot on here. So
and I'm gonna tell you this: it'll be a Officer Tatum ass nigga that would have helped Emmett Till get lynched, straight up.
Oh yeah.
That's why I keep telling people these type of dudes ain't new. I tell people all the time, you know, in Oakland, you know, our OGs was the Panthers. And what people commonly don't know is everybody wasn't with the movement. When we show it, it seems like all black people was unified. No, you had some weirdo ass niggas that was not with the shits.
Oh yeah, you did. Let me pull this over. Give me 1 second. Got to escape from the full screen over here. No. Turn that off. All right. Yeah, it's about 3 minutes. It ain't that long. It's about 3 minutes. All right, cool. It's about 3 minutes, Tommy. Video file. Let's do Ed Bradley.
Young filmmaker to bring to light what they should have brought to light.
In 1955, Emmett Till's mother, Mamie, tried to get her government to bring the truth to light. She sent a telegram to President Dwight Eisenhower urging that justice be meted out to all persons involved in the beastly lynching of her son. In spite of FBI records and news reports at the time citing specific individuals, President Eisenhower didn't take any action. Emmett Till's mother died before the government reopened the case this past spring, a case based largely on the research of Keith Beauchamp. Among his discoveries was Henry Lee Loggins, now 81 years old and living in Ohio. At the time of the murder, Loggins was working for J.W. Milam. FBI files from 1955 refer to witnesses who claim they saw Loggins on the truck with Emmett Till after he was abducted. One respected black newspaper at the time even reported that Loggins allegedly held Emmett Till down as Milam and Bryant tortured him. Loggins was also reportedly ordered by them to attach the fan from a cotton gin around Till's neck just before tossing him into the Tallahatchie River. Henry Lee Loggins is now under investigation by the Justice Department. When we talked to him recently, he denied the allegations that have dogged him for half a century.
I wouldn't say he didn't tell a lie. I wasn't with them people. I ain't saw nothing.
How do you think your name came up? I mean, not just in newspaper articles, but also with the FBI. Why did people say that Henry Lee Loggins was there?
I can't figure that out. I can't figure that out to the date.
Henry Lee, how do you explain all these stories that just won't go away?
Such as what?
Such as you were there on the back of the truck.
Which I wasn't.
That you participated in the abduction, the kidnapping, and the murder of Emmett Till.
Which I wasn't.
That you tossed his body in the river.
Which I wasn't. What's your name?
Ed.
Ed. Mr. Ed, I wouldn't say to you and tell you no lie. I don't know nothing about that case.
What are you going to do when the FBI comes knocking on
I'll
your
tell
door?
them the same thing, that I wasn't there. And that's them too. Lord know I wasn't there.
5 other black men, now dead, have also been implicated in some way in the abduction and murder of...
So this old ass nigga sat up and said he ain't know nothing about the case. He dead now. He gone now. But he sat up and said he know nothing about that case. That's how you know he lying.
Well, I wouldn't sit up here and tell you no lie. Oh, so if you actually did it, you just come out and say you did it? Like, come on, bro. What are we talking about?
So the feds can run down on your stupid ass. Right
Exactly.
Come on, man.
Oh, you know what? I did do it. I'll go ahead and spend the rest of my life in jail. Like,
yeah, you 81? No.
Emmett Till. If any of the allegations are true, the question is why?
Knowing now that black men could possibly have been involved, I just keep thinking, about what could have been going through Emmett Till's mind, seeing this.
And how do you explain that? That
Well, we know
they would
that
turn on one of their own.
We believe that they were forced to participate.
Them niggas wasn't for. Shout out to Ed Bradley, man. Shout out to Ed fucking Bradley. Exposing this.
In the crime. It was going to either be them or Emmett Till. It was shocking at first because for so long you've heard, white men were involved, and that was it. It was a white and black thing. We know
they would
that
turn on one of their own.
We believe that they were forced to participate. in the crime. It was going to even.
This is why I want Javon and Tristan pressed a little bit harder. I kind of want that coach pressed a little bit harder too, because he jumped out there stating the motive as if he knows something. Be honest. Let's get him.
Be them or Emmett Till. It was shocking at first because for so long you've heard, white men were involved, and that was it. It was a white and black thing. You couldn't help but, be amazed.
It seems clear that black men were involved. Emmett Till's late great-uncle Mose Wright said there was a black man on the porch when J.W. Milam and Roy Bryant came to take Emmett Till. He also said he heard a woman's voice that night coming from a truck parked outside.
This is important, and I'm going to tell you why. The rest of this was in 2004 when this was done, guys. 2004. Joe Biden took office in 2020. Kristen Clark was at the DOJ in 2020. The Emmett Till Lynching Act, Anti-Lynching Act, was on the floor to be voted on, along with the George Floyd Policing Act. To this day, I don't believe either one of them got passed. But this next part is very important because as early as 2003, maybe earlier than that, 5 black people were under investigation by the feds for taking out Emmett Till.
He believed it was Roy Bryant's wife, Carolyn, the woman Emmett Till had whistled at several days.
Shout out to you. That's a fair point. There are plenty of other folks to focus on and be on. Focusing on black involvement takes away from it being a hate crime. Not necessarily if those dudes were forced to make those statements. But you're not going to get it out of them because I believe there's pressure on them. That's the only reason I'm calling for them to be pressed on a little bit harder. But it doesn't make sense for the police, the local police, to press on them. We need federal involvement in this case today. Thanks for the comment, bro.
Earlier, inside her husband's grocery store in Money, Mississippi. Mose Wright's son, Simeon, Emmett's cousin, says his father.
Hey, called out. If I was missing, would you come help look for me? Would you help my mom look for me? Just answer the question. This is my best friend. So.
Told him the same thing.
Oh, yes. It was another man standing on the porch. My dad talked about it. There was another person in the truck because when they marched Emmett out to the truck and they asked the person inside the truck, is this the one? My dad said he heard a woman's voice identifying Emmett as the boy that did the whistling.
So that must have been Bryant's wife.
At that time, we believed it was Bryant's wife, and after 48 and some odd years, nothing has arisen to dispel that belief.
Okay. So these are witnesses that were there, eyewitnesses. This is their account. This is Mississippi, guys. Their account. Tommy B back in the building. So these are the witnesses' accounts. And they're saying they heard a woman's voice identifying Emmett Till coming from the truck. It was at nighttime. There were also several other black people there with them.
Apparently, the local authorities back then believed it too, and according to FBI communiques, issued an arrest warrant for Carolyn Bryant on suspicion of kidnapping, but she was never arrested or charged.
Okay, Carolyn Bryant, very familiar name. When did Carolyn Bryant die? And how did she die? She died free in what, 2022, if I'm not mistaken.
Today, we've learned that Carolyn Bryant is a focus of the Justice Department's new investigation, suspected of having assisted her husband Roy and J.W. Milam in the abduction of Emmett Till. She was divorced in 1979 and has since remarried and moved several times. She had all but disappeared from public view until we found her.
This is why Ed Bradley is an OG. Shout out to Ed Bradley one more time. I can't say this enough. Probably one of the best investigative journalist pieces, journal pieces in history to me. He found her old ass.
70 and known as Carolyn Dunham, living in Greenville, Mississippi. While our cameraman was able to take these pictures of her, when I went to her house, she wouldn't answer the door. Moments later, her son, Frank Bryant, arrived, and we tried to talk to him.
Can we talk to Mrs. Dunham?
Can't talk to me either.
Can I tell you get her to come out?
No.
I have some questions I'd like to ask her about Emmett Till.
Till. I'm sorry, it's too bad.
Will she come out and talk to us?
What I just tell you?
Tell me again.
What I just tell you? Ed Bradley say, tell me again. I'm sure Ed had probably about 20 folks with him, so you know.
No.
She won't.
No. Goodbye.
I'm back?
I said goodbye.
That's probably the only reason why old boy's still here. Because if he didn't have 20 folks with him, you hear that voice. You hear what time he on.
Oh yeah, he on that kind of time. Same time his daddy was on. You know what I'm saying? Listen to this shit, Tommy. This is OT right here, though.
I was gonna say, Mike, responding to that earlier comment, it doesn't make it no less a hate crime if you talk about the black folks. In fact, it lets us know that even in the hate crime, niggas are still participating.
Yeah, we still participate. We're participating in a lot of things that white people tell us to participate in if we think it's going to get us ahead. And I think that's what happened to them boys.
We see it every day on the internet.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We see it every day on the internet. And you're a couple of bucks and you niggas are trade on the whole race.
Oh, yeah.
Will she come out and talk to us?
What I just tell you?
Tell me again.
No.
She won't.
No. Goodbye.
I'm back?
I said goodbye.
Goodbye. You leaving?
No, you are.
Shout out to Ed Bradley, man. He say, oh, you leaving?
Hey, where you going?
Hey, no, you are.
Oh, you leaving?
Look at Ed. Look how Ed chewing the gum, fam. Ed look like he'll deal with that nigga, though.
I was just about to say, Ed didn't look like he wish a honky would.
Hey, Ed look like he'll deal with that nigga, though.
We called the house later in the day, and neither Frank Bryant nor his mother Carolyn would discuss the Emmett Till case any further. We've learned that the Justice Department could complete its investigation within a year, and criminal charges against at least 5 people could follow. But the Justice Department and the FBI declined to comment.
What would justice be?
All right, now you know this slimy bastard. This is 2003. This has been 23 years ago. None other than Chuck Schumer in the building. And listen to what he says and take what he said 23 years ago and juxtapose it to what's happened to this day.
In this case, in my opinion, there ought to be a full trial. And if there are convictions, even though the people are old who did it, they ought to go to jail.
Okay, Chuck Schumer, that came out of his mouth. When Chuck Schumer was the head of the Senate Majority Leader, Joe Biden was in power. DOJ under Merrick Garland, Kristen Clark in the DOJ, Black district attorney in that county in Mississippi. I forgot exactly where it was, Money, Mississippi, wherever that county is. The district attorney at that time was Black. I want to say it was Greenwood, Mississippi. I don't know exactly what county that's in. And they failed to charge Carolyn Dunham. She died peacefully in a nursing home in Kentucky. So,
of course.
So even though the people were old, and Chuck Schumer, who was the head of the Senate Majority Leader, said they ought to go to jail. When Joe Biden got in the office, they dropped the ball and fumbled. That's why the Democrats can't really win the election amongst Black people anymore, because they fumble in too many monumental cases that involve us and involve justice for us. That would have been a hell of a sign. You want to talk about symbolism? If you would have arrested Carolyn Dunham, Kamala Harris would have been president today. You would have arrested Carolyn Dunham, Kamala Harris will be president today, and I'm gonna tell you why. You should have did that as a symbolic gesture instead of putting Ketanji Brown Jackson on the Supreme Court. That would have been a better symbolic gesture. Like, hey, no matter how old you get, you're gonna still be held accountable. So no, we're not gonna let Mississippi get away with it. And like I said, undetermined is the worst possible outcome for this autopsy at this point in time. We need answers. Now it's time to drill down. But as far as you Black content creators who want to come out here and run cover, for you people who want to, you know, create diversions, spread disinformation and misinformation, I'm on y'all's necks because you guys are not protected. I'm gonna get this autopsy report downloaded and get it over to my mother so I could try to get back on tonight. It may take a little while for her to read it, but I'm gonna go ahead and call the show for now, Tommy. Okay. And we're gonna circle back around tonight. You gonna be out all day?
Yeah, I'll be around. So yeah, when I get the alert, I'll tap in.
All right, sound like a winner.
All right,
Tommy B, man. Thank you, bro. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. I gotta go digest this information, and we gotta get some more answers. We got a long way ahead of us, guys. That's all I can say as far as the journey for justice. We need to hold Mississippi accountable and make them do their jobs. They need to lose their jobs. I think Ledbetter needs to go anyway. He messed up the whole thing. Ledbetter blew it for everybody. He blew it for the people he was covering for, and he blew it for everybody. I don't think he's competent, and I don't know the man, to be honest. So thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Leave your comments. I'll read all the comments. Leave your comments. Leave your thoughts. Like, subscribe, and share this broadcast. And catch us on YouTube at The Big Mike Drop or Mike Drops Facts. You can put either one in. I would go with The Big Mike Drop. The Mike Drop. I'm your host. Until next time, guys.